Δεκαετία του 1920. Μικρασιατική καταστροφή.
Decade of the 1920s. Main arise destruction, refugees, establishment of democracy, efforts for social and financial recovery. It's time the technical education is led on a new basis. The Polytechnical University will be joined by the agricultural and the higher commercial school in the 1920s. At the secondary level of education, the Diplarios School, the Agricultural School of Thessaloniki, the Stephastopoulou School, the Valianios School in Lixouri will be joined by Sivitanidios, Public School of Trades and Vocations in 1929. In no time, the emergence of Sivitanidios School signifies the flagship of technical education. The history of Sivitanidios began in Alexandria of Egypt. Dying in 1921, the great economic factor of Greek community, Vasilis Sivitanidis, bequeathed his entire fortune to the Greek government to erect technical school comparable to the European standards. His choice was not random. Living in Egypt, he had experienced tangible examples of benefaction with specific reference to the educational institutes. The implementation of the covenant was made by the Ministry of Economy, to which belonged the Greek technical education until the decade of the 1950s, and in turn the Ministry of Economy appointed the administrative board, in which eminent representatives of financial and education community participated as members. For over than 30 years, most powerful persons were elected, such as the owner of cement industry, Hadjikyriakos Antonios, and Iliadis Anargyros, the head of Department for Technical Education at the Ministry of Economy. The school model which was adopted followed the German standards, which emphasized on the apprenticeship and workshop compared with theoretical training. During the first operational years of Sivitanidios institution, executive members visited Germany and was supplied with a number of industrial equipment. Also, contemporary educational practices were adopted, such as preliminary semester and practical training for the obtainment of the degree. The pursuit of Sivitanidios Institute was the separation from the state and by all means financial independence. Therefore, the tuitions the students paid at the time were by far much higher than other educational institutes, while at the same time, until 1968, there operated factories for the manufacture of products, taking over private and state orders. In this way, the profits which Sivitanidios Institute made through these actions highly contributed to its budget. The choice of education administrative staff was made by the administrative board, and their employment was temporary.
Διάσημα ονόματα της καλλιτεχνικής ζωής, Παπαλουκάς, Σόχος, Γεωργαντής, Θωμόπουλος, Κανδύλης, δίδαξαν τη δεκαετία του 30 στο Σχολείο Διακοσμητικών Τεχνών.
For the teachers of labor arts courses, practical training was necessary, whereas the teachers of theoretical subjects had to adjust their teaching to practical issues such as practical geometry. Many renowned artists of the 1930s were hired to teach in the sector of decorative arts. However, famous sculptors such as Mr. Porthenis were considered rather theoretical for their papers and were rejected. The Sivitanidios Institute initiated its operation in 1929 at a rented building, and the inauguration was made by the Prime Minister of the time, Eleftherios Venizelos. During the first year, Sivitanidios Institute introduced the sectors of decoration, constructions and mechanical engineering, as well as the electrical engineering and the preliminary section for all sectors. 190 students totally attended all these sectors. In November of 1931, the Sivitanidios Institute moves to proprietary building project of famous architect, and in year 1932 and 33, students exceed the number of 680 attendants, and by the end of the decade, they reached to 1,000.
Χτίζονται δύο καινούργια κτίρια που σήμερα στεγάζουν σχολικές μονάδες της.
Τη δεκαετία του 30 η σχολή αναπτύσσεται με ρυθμούς εξαιρετικούς. Οι περίπου 190 μαθητές του 1929 θα φτάσουν τους 1.000 λίγο πριν τον πόλεμο.
The number of students, the modern school facilities and the contemporary equipment constitute Sivitanidios a major education technical institution and is promoted to a privileged interlocutor with the Greek state and the industrial sector. Politicians, state officers, and even King himself visit the institute and get impressed. Private and state orders for the manufacture of federal products by the workshops of Sivitanidios school are constantly coming one after the other.
Στα εργαστήρια, κατασκευές και εκτέλεση έργων. Στις δραστηριότητες περιλαμβάνονται μουσική, γυμναστική, οργάνωση εκδηλώσεων και παρελάσεων, προβολή ταινιών, ακόμα και κατασκήνωση το καλοκαίρι του 1940. Η σχολή αναδείχθηκε σε προνομιακό συνομιλητή του ελληνικού κράτους και της βιομηχανίας. Υπουργοί και αξιωματούχοι, ακόμη και οι βασιλείς, επισκέπτονται το σχολείο και μένουν εντυπωσιασμένοι.
During the period of dictatorship in Greece and also the years of Second World War, the role of Sivitanidios school becomes more vital. From the year 1938 to 39, Sivitanidios school trains students to become commissioned officers of aviation and also overtakes the manufacture, repair and test of military equipment. During the German occupation of Greece in Second World War, Sivitanidios school continues its activities, though having a small number of students. In the beginning of this period, German officers used the workshops to repair their vehicles, and for a period of time it houses a German hospital of Kalithea.
Για να επισκευάζουν τα αυτοκίνητά τους, ενώ παραγγέλνουν και διάφορα έπιπλα. Από το Γενάρη του 1943 μέχρι το τέλος της κατοχής θα στεγάζεται εκεί το γερμανικό νοσοκομείο Καλιθέας.
During the civil war in Greece, which started in 1935 after the end of German occupation, a great number of equipment and tools at the workshops of Sivitanidios school is looted, whereas its facilities are commanded by the British and Greek army. The occurrence of the American financial support and implementation of Marshall Plan gave a boost. The need for the service of the vehicles led to the creation of the sector of car mechanics at Sivitanidios school, with the change of retrofitting and full operation of many sectors. Thanks to the American support and also to the state orders, Sivitanidios school came across a unprecedented boom. Its professors are sent for post-graduation studies abroad and bring back new ideas. And throughout the time, the number of students is constantly rising.
Σε αμφιθέατρα πανεπιστημιακών σχολών και τα έδρανα της Βουλής, καθώς και σε πολλές ιδιωτικές επιχειρήσεις.
By the end of the 1950s, technical education comes under the Ministry of Education, when three levels of education are introduced: lower, intermediate and upper. At the lower level, in 1965, about 1,000 students are included in the sectors of mechanics, electricians, carpenters and car mechanics. The intermediate sector includes the specialties of mechanical engineering, electrical installations and building constructions with over 1,600 students, whereas the upper sector includes the specialty of electronics. The dictatorship of 1967 in Greece will induce substantial changes to the countenance and educational prospect of Sivitanidios Institute.
Η δικτατορία του 1967 θα επιφέρει ουσιαστικές αλλαγές στη φυσιογνωμία και το ρόλο της. Στη μεταπολίτευση η σχολή θα ενταχθεί στη γενικότερη δευτεροβάθμια τεχνική εκπαίδευση της χώρας και θα συνδέσει τις τύχες της με αυτήν.